Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking an absolutely fascinating blueprint for building a business that doesn't just survive, but literally thrives in chaos. I want you to think of a company like a highly advanced machine. It's basically built on three distinct levels. You have the foundational mindset of its leadership, the dynamic software of its organization, and the actual physical operations of its machinery. We are going to explore how you can engineer true resilience into every single one of those layers.
Okay, let's dive into this with our guiding thesis today, which comes from visionary entrepreneur Dhiraj Jain. In business, it's so easy to assume that growth is just a stroke of luck, or maybe just the result of aggressive, nonstop hustle. But as Jain argues, real, lasting growth, especially against market turbulence, is meticulously designed. We're going to break down exactly how to engineer that resilience from the top down.
So here is our macro to micro architecture for today. First, we'll cover engineering enterprise growth. Second, mastering corporate agility. Third, we'll drop down to reliability-centered maintenance. And finally, designing systems to last. Let's get started.
Part 1. Engineering Enterprise Growth.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sharp contrast we see. Drawing insights from Dhiraj Jain, who literally went from a tiny 1 BHK apartment in India to a 141st floor headquarters in the Burj Khalifa, we find a totally different mindset. Hustle culture says you've got to grind 24/7, right? But Jain proposes something completely counterintuitive, the lazy CEO. Now, this isn't about just slacking off. The busy founder is actually a massive liability. They confuse sheer activity with actual progress, and inevitably, they just burn out. The lazy CEO, on the other hand, designs systems that produce scalable growth without needing their daily presence. It's all about building leverage, not just expanding your own personal workload.
So, to scale beyond the founder, you need operating principles. Jain uses what he calls the TGIS framework at 1XL Holdings: trust, growth, integrity, and sustainability. Look, most corporate values exercises completely fail because they're honestly just words on a wall. But this framework, it's meant to actually operationalize integrity into measurable systems. It ensures that a company is built to last far beyond the founder's time there.
And, to sustain the founder themselves, Jain introduces the PPSS balance. This structurally divides your focus into 4 distinct pillars: personal, professional, social, and spiritual. It's a complete rejection of that typical cliché work-life balance framing. Instead, it makes structural choices to fiercely protect family and faith simultaneously. For leaders building serious companies, the spiritual and personal grounding actually becomes a huge competitive advantage. It's a real structural choice you can implement right now to avoid your own burnout.
Part 2. Mastering corporate agility. So zooming in one level from the founder's mindset, we hit the organizational layer. To really understand this, we're looking at some rigorous source material from the Sale Growth Journal, specifically examining the relevance of corporate agility. This research defines exactly how modern companies must function to outrun their rivals in markets that are characterized by extreme volatility and rapid change. Now, business agility isn't just about moving fast. It's literally the capability to sense highly uncertain changes, both internal and external, and respond rapidly. It's about anticipating those marketplace shifts and modifying your resources incredibly fast across your talent pool, your organizational culture, and your overall structure. But here is a massive difference you have to understand: the difference between doing agile and being agile. Doing agile is strictly operational. It's speed to value, adapting, and crucially, doing less by eliminating marginal, low-value work. Being agile, though, that's cultural. It focuses on quality, exploring new paradigms, and genuinely engaging and inspiring the workforce. You absolutely have to master both sides to truly adapt. And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world payoff of all this, which is called the agility dividend. Agility isn't just a buzzword, it's actual math. The formula breaks down into 3 very tangible things: an efficiency dividend from property and operational savings, a happiness dividend from reduced commute time and costs, and a productivity dividend from minimized downtime. It creates massive, measurable organizational rewards. But to actually cash in on that dividend, organizations have to step up. You create a shared need using scorecards. You assemble problem solvers to actively shape the vision. You use blitz teams to mobilize commitment. And then you rigorously monitor your progress. This kind of open collaboration across HR, real estate, and IT is literally the only way to smash through those rigid silos that kill a company's resilience.
Part 3, reliability-centered maintenance.
Okay, so we have our founder's mindset and we have our agile organization. Now, let's zoom all the way into the micro level, the actual physical machinery. We are grounding ourselves here in a highly technical paper from the Growth Journal that breaks down the exact science of engineering physical systems for maximum uptime. The technique is called reliability-centered maintenance, or RCM for short. It's actually a method that was originally developed in the aircraft industry. To cut through the jargon, RCM recognizes a very vital truth. You cannot improve a machine's inherent design reliability once it's already built, but you can effectively maintain it to ensure it actually reaches that intended reliability. It focuses your resources only where they are actually required.
So the crucial point is that RCM is governed by two absolute rules. If a failure has massive, significant consequences, you must prevent it. But if the consequences are non-significant or minor, it is financially useless to do preventative maintenance beyond just basic servicing. RCM essentially eliminates cost-ineffective maintenance completely.
Implementing this basically takes a sprawling mess of a plant and turns it into a highly optimized priority list through 6 quick steps. You classify the equipment, spot the significant items, analyze their functions and the failure risks, establish the consequences, and finally, assign the exact maintenance tasks.
Step 5 there is absolutely critical. RCM structures the evaluation of failure consequences in descending order of importance. First up are hidden failures, which are major safety risks. Next are direct safety consequences, then operational consequences, which cause direct economic loss. And finally, non-operational consequences, which just cost repair money. For example, if a hydraulic pump operating a blast furnace gas control damper fails, that is a high-stakes, significant consequence that absolutely must be prevented.
Let's move to and see how this builds out the strict hierarchy when selecting how to actually fix these issues. The absolute holy grail here is plant condition monitoring, checking the machine while it's still running. It's completely non-invasive and vastly preferred over the second and third options, which involves stopping production to rework or completely discard components. The whole goal is maximum uptime with the absolute minimal interference.
Part 4, designing systems to last.
So, we've traveled all the way from the sweeping vision of a real estate mogul down to the exact maintenance schedule of an industrial pump. The core takeaway tying this whole shebang together? Alignment. Growth isn't an accident. Survival isn't just luck. To build a truly resilient system, you need rigorous engineering at all 3 levels simultaneously. You need the systems-first philosophical blueprint of the lazy CEO, the dynamic software of an agile team, and the cost-effective hardware of your daily operations.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. When the market shifts, or a machine breaks down, or burnout looms, are you just reacting to the turbulence, or have you actually engineered a macro to micro system designed to outrun it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this masterclass helps you build something that lasts.